everyone, Scott Kurtz here, and welcome back to Meaducation. So this week's episode, we're talking about probably the least fun, but the most important part of making your own mead, or your own beer, or cider, or wine, and that's cleaning or sanitizing your equipment. Cleaning and sanitizing your equipment is probably the most crucial thing you need to do for making a good batch of alcohol. So when everything is mixed up in your homebrew batch, whether it be beer, mead, cider, or wine, it's essentially a giant petri dish at that point. It's a sugar solution that wild bacteria and yeast are going to love just as much as cultured bacteria and yeast for fermenting alcohol. You want to avoid that getting into there at all possible. So one of the ways we do that is by cleaning and sanitizing. So with cleaning and sanitizing, there's ways to do it and ways to not do it. We'll go over the ways not to do it first because these will just create problems down the road for you and just better avoided. So the first thing we'll talk about, especially if you're using plastic homebrew buckets, is what materials you should use to scrub those out. The big thing is you do not want to use any abrasive materials because they will scratch the plastic. Now, let particles get stuck behind. Next thing you know, we have an infection. You have to throw that bucket out. So things such as steel wool or scouring pads are best left avoided. Now, you can use sponges that do have a scouring side to them, but make sure you use this side, the soft side. Now, if you're doing steel fermenters and everything, this is perfectly fine because these will work well in there. Scratching up won't be as much of an issue, but still, if you're using plastic, again, nothing abrasive. Thing up is going to be the cleaning solutions and sanitizing solutions. So one of the things you do not want to do for cleaning is use dish soap. Dish soap has a lot of detergents that are in there that will get stuck in the plastic and everything, or even on steel, and it will just ruin your batch completely. Plus, it always leaves behind that soapy residue too. I've made that mistake once in the past and never again. So again, dish soap, don't do it. Another one, bleach. Do not use this. Do not use bleach. Bleach, even though it will get stuff clean, it leaves behind residues as well, and plus the chlorine takes forever to rinse out, and you will usually need extremely hot water to get that rinsed out. It's just not worth the time or energy or the risk of losing your batch and having it taste like chlorine. Not to mention, bleach is highly toxic as well. It's best left avoided. So for things to use for cleaning out and sanitizing your homebrew equipment, obviously using a non-abrasive sponge is good, just like a good regular sponge, not anything like a loofah or anything like that, but those are good. I would also recommend using a nice clean dishcloth. It always works out well. And then, especially if you're using glass and you have those narrow neck carboys and everything, a brush with little vinyl bristles is also pretty good. You can find these at almost any homebrew store in the St. Louis area or on Amazon, whatever you prefer using. Now, as far as cleaning chemicals to use, one of the more popular brands out there for homebrewers is the 5-Star brand, which has PBW, which is Power Brewery Wash, which is an alkaline-based brewery wash. Does a pretty good job cleaning stuff out, even does a pretty good job on your dishes in the dishwasher as well. They have their acid-based sanitizer, Star San, which is super helpful for just taking off the surface bacteria after everything's been scrubbed down. And that way, you just, whenever things go into your fermenting bucket, you can ensure at that point all the bacteria has been killed off of them. Now, if you're short on cleaning stuff like PBW and everything, a good substitute to use is OxyClean. Now, this comes with a caveat. You need to make sure you get the OxyClean free. You want the stuff that has no detergents in there whatsoever. Those, obviously, as is with the dish soap, those will get stuck behind. They'll give the mead, cider, beer, or wine off flavors or aromas, and obviously you want to avoid that. Now, for a couple extras you can use to kind of make the cleaning process easier on yourself are a spray bottle. You can be using this for your sanitizer and stuff. Makes it a lot easier for just kind of giving everything a quick little spritz just across all the buckets, across all the equipment. As long as you let the sanitizing solution sit on there for at least a good 30 seconds, you should be good. And also something to save your hands too from all the chemicals and everything. While the stuff won't eat you down to the bone, it'll still dry your hands out and they'll get chapped at that point. It's definitely some good homebrew gauntlets. You can usually find these at a homebrew supply store, or you can always find them online. Anyways, that's it for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in. Next time we'll be covering selecting honey for your first mead. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.